Hello everyone, this is your next theory lesson, the grand staff. Before we start, I want to correct last week's work or last lesson's work, starting with which was the bass clef. So, starting with the first lesson, which was to the first question, which was to, well, not so much a question, but was to ask you to fill in, practice drawing your bass clefs. So like I said last week, if your teacher asked you to do them again or gave you feedback, hopefully you did these well. The next question was question 2, was to identify these notes. Just drawing them real quick. Okay, so these were the notes given to you in question 2. You had to identify where they are along the 5 lines using either good boys do fine always or all cows eat grass. The first one was given to you as B. The other ones are as follows. This is G, E, A, B. Oh, sorry, that's not B, that is D, that is C, G, A, F, and B. Okay, so that's, hopefully you got that. With G, incidentally, it could have been this also. Alright, same with this G. Could have been either one. Alright, so hopefully you got that, guys. Tick them off or mark a cross and work out where you went wrong, okay? Usually people get it wrong if they mistook it for treble clef. Remember, treble clef is not the same as bass clef in terms of where the notes are placed. Okay, the only thing that is same between the bass clef and treble clef is we write notes on lines or spaces. That's the only difference, but what they are alphabetically is different. Okay. The other exercise, which was number 3, was to draw the notes based on the letters given to you. So this was a G, B, C, F, E, A, D, G. Let me just make sure I got all that. G, B, C, F, E, A, D, G. All right, so you could have put them, the first one was given to you as that. B, you had to have put it here. C, here. F, here. E, here. A could have been here or here. D, here. G could have been here or here, just like the first one. All right, hope you went well. Hope you got that right. If not, please mark them with a tick or a cross. If not, please go back and look where you mucked up. If you need help, please contact your teacher as soon as possible, because like I said, this is only going to get a lot more challenging, okay? These are actual baby steps we're taking. So if you are struggling, please do see a teacher. So, we are going to start with our next unit, which is the grand staff. I would like you to put a heading that says grand staff. So, we had the bass clef and the treble clef we have taught you so far. The grand staff utilizes both. Now, some of you may have wondered, why is the notes written in bass clef different to treble clef? The notes, as in the letters, are written differently from between bass clef and treble clef. Hopefully this will clear it up. So starting with just writing a few of these, okay? We're going to start with the bass clef. So you do need to copy these out with me, okay? So we're just reviewing the bass clef, which I'm going to draw here. You'll actually need 2 staffs here. So that's the other difference. You require 2 staffs. Okay? So you require 2 staffs. Excuse my handwriting. Now, we're going to start it with the bass clef here. So go ahead and do that. Make sure there's plenty of space to your right, as you're going to be using both staffs diagonally. So make sure there's plenty of space and don't spread out your writing too much. Okay, starting with the notes on the lines. G, B, D, F, A. So G, B, D, F, A. Okay, we're going to put the notes in the space as well. A, C, E, and G. Oops, silly handwriting. You probably can't see, but I am awkwardly in an awkward position to write this, so that's why my handwriting's so bad. You've got that. That's your bass clef. Then we're going to draw a treble clef here. So do that for me. But instead of drawing the treble clef notes here, we're actually going to start them over here. You'll see why in a moment. So we're actually going to start it about here. Excuse the bell. Now, actually I'm going to use a different color. So let's use blue for the lines. So we've got your lines here. So remember, for treble clef, it's every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. And I'll do another color for the space. Remember, the space spells face. Okay, hope that makes sense so far. Like I said, the difference between bass clef and treble clef are the letters written over the lines or spaces. And of course, the actual clefs themselves are written differently. Make sure you have written it like this exactly. Pause the video now if you need to catch up. Alright, assuming you have done that, what are we going to do in the middle? So what we're going to do is add what we call ledger lines. So we're going to put one ledger line here. Okay, and we're going to put another ledger line here. So a ledger line. What is a ledger line? I would like you to write this just at the... Oh, let me draw a better looking arrow. It's still not much better. L-E-D-G-E-R, line. Basically, if you want to write more notes, either above or below, we add more lines to allow us to do that. So we're going to start with the bass clef. I'm going to use another color again. So we can actually put more notes. I'm going to just put a little more space here. Now, what you'll notice is this is an A, and if I want to write another note, I can actually draw a note just above the line. Okay, so what will that be? If that's an A, we're going up alphabetically, that's actually going to be a B. So the B is above the line in its own little imaginary space. But if I wanted to keep going, I'm going to put another line. a ledger line. This is also called a ledger line. And I'm going to put a note through there. So we've added an extra line on top of the 5 lines. If that's a B, therefore this is a C. I hope that makes sense so far. We're going up alphabetically. And you can see now, if we put an imaginary line here, there is a space there technically. All right, now we're going to do the same thing on the treble clef. I'm going to put a note below the line. So we finish at E, but we can actually add more notes. So alphabetically going down, that is going to be a D. We're going down alphabetically. All right, and then here, if we want to add more notes, we add more ledger lines. That is also a C. We're going down alphabetically and we're adding more lines while we add more notes. Now, I don't know if you notice here, but this is the turning point where notes in the bass clef continue on through to the notes in the treble clef. This is what is happening here. So, in actual fact, this note and this note is exactly the same. So, we're going to put the note closer to the middle, which becomes a C. So, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Again, A, B, C, C, which is the same note, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. This is why we call it a grand staff. We are connecting the notes of the bass clef through to the notes of the treble clef. This is what piano players do. That's why there are so many notes on the keyboard, because there's so many notes to play and so many notes can be written. This is called, and you should be copying this down, a middle C. Because it is in the middle of treble clef and bass clef and is the focal point of the two. So, I hope that makes sense. Middle C or bass clef connects to treble clef in a grand staff. I hope you understand that, guys, because it is only going to get more complicated from here. Please make sure you ask for help if you don't understand.